Hey, it's time for another episode of Damien Ruins Horror Movies. My name is Damien. Tonight is Tales from the Crypt Season 2, Episode 10, The Ventriloquist Dummy. And as usual, this episode is brought to you by Cool Dude Inc. There's a link in the notes or description, whatever, down below. And next, I have another pumpkin beer. Ace Pumpkin. No, I wasn't gonna do any more of these because it was kind of one and done. But I bought this one the other day and I liked it. And now I'm gonna pretend like I've never had it before and drink it in front of you. This is a cider. The first sip you take has like that clovey pumpkin spice, but as you swallow, it tastes like apple cider. It's very refreshing. It's really good, especially if you drank a few of those Elysians or Elysians, whatever the fuck they're called. Drink 3 or 4 of those and have one of these. Holy shit! And these are weak. This is like 5%. You mean you could drink this and still drive home? I'm just kidding. All right, let's cue up the whiskey bats and get started. This episode is directed by Richard Donner, who brought us Lethal Weapon. Pretty sure he did all of them. And that yelling, this is the last weekend of the pool because it's Labor Day weekend. Tomorrow's the last day. So I will be doing more videos because I don't have to listen to that shit. Because I know it probably is. As annoying it is for me, if you're watching this video, I bet that sucks for you too. And I always forget to put music in the background to try and drown it out. This episode opens up. Don Rickles is a ventriloquist and Morty is his dummy. But Don Rickles is not the main character of this episode. Billy, an 11-year-old boy in the audience watching, has discovered what he wants to be when he grows up. He wants to be a ventriloquist. And after the show, he even gets a signed picture of Don Rickles with Morty. Back in Don's room, Don's got a little date with one of the showgirls, but somehow he's not quite in the mood. But little Morty is, and that night there's a fire. Fast forward 15 years. Billy's all grown up. He's grown into Bobcat Goldthwait. You remember him? Police Academy. First video I ever did was Willow Creek, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. That guy. Except he talks kind of normal in this episode, but his dummy is like, boy, my arm's tired. He does the punchlines and shit. But that night that Billy got that autographed picture, Don Rickles told him, if you ever need anything, you need advice or anything, you come see me. I'll help you achieve your dream. So here we are 15 years later, and Billy shows up to old Shayla Rickles, and even brought his own dummy with him. Rickles lets him in. And of course he doesn't remember him. I mean, hey, maybe don't wait 15 years to cash in a favor. And Billy, like, immediately when he gets in Rickles' place, he just gets to be like this nosy guy. Like that. Like me, the first time I ever stayed the night at my friend Tim's house in the 5th grade. And I'm like, wow, you got all these toys and you got all these G.I. Joe. And he's like, oh, get out of my shit. He's doing that to Rickles. And he's like, oh, is this Morty's box? He's like, don't touch anything. But then he finds a newspaper clipping from that night, the fire. And he finds out that the showgirl died in the fire. And that was the night. That was the last night that Rickles ever performed. He lost everything that night. The girl, he lost where he was staying. He even lost his hand. But the ball's on Billy. Even just learning all that information, he's like, so is there any way you could come to my show and, check it out and tell me if I'm any good and give me some pointers? And people wonder why celebrities hate normal people. Like, I'm supposed to be the self-absorbed one. You're just supposed to watch. But Rickles, even though he's annoyed, he's still like, I'll think about it. And the big night comes. It's at the same venue and everything. So, like, Rickles doesn't seem to act, like, weird about it, but he should be. It's like, I haven't done comedy since that night, and I did it in this place, and now I'm walking back in. Seems pretty normal about it. Billy on stage not normal. Billy bombs like big time, like bad. Like it's hard to believe 15 years ago this kid walked out and was like, boom, I know what I want to do. And then 15 years later, he just looks like somebody who's never done it before, who found out what ventriloquism was yesterday. And it was like, what the fuck? And Rickles is kind of back there, like, kind of rooting for him. He's like, come on, kid. Come on, you can do it. And then, then he does, the ultimate, cringe douche move where he's like, hey, guys are in the house. Don Rickles is here. Maybe we can get him to come up. And it's like, dude, the guy quit. He's missing a hand. What are you doing? So Rickles disappears. He's like, fuck this. And he goes down to the bar. And he even gets hit on by some chick who may or may not be a hooker. But eventually Billy finds him and he's like, well, so what'd you think? And Rickles is like, yeah, maybe comedy's not for you. It's like your timing sucks. Your crowd work was not good. You don't have any material. Because it really is like Billy did not practice at all. He just made a dummy 15 years ago and was just like, someday I'll get up there. It's like, dude, you gotta, I don't know how it works. So Billy leaves, disappointed. And Rickles goes over to that girl that was giving him the eye, who may or may not be a hooker. He's like, hey, can I buy you a drink? So meanwhile, Billy's outside beating himself up over his performance, his opportunity, his one and only chance, which it's not your one and only chance. You just have to, you got to keep doing it. You just have to get better and figure out why you suck. But he's out there literally he beat the shit out of his dummy. And then he hears this scream. He's like, oh, what's that? And he runs over to this car and there's kind of a crowd of people around. And it's the hooker in the car, dead. So Billy immediately rushes over to Rickles' place and bursts in and catches him shooting up. He's like, you killed her, and it smelled like gasoline. You were gonna try and kill her and get away with it again like you did last time. And it's like, whoa, Billy, how did you get to that conclusion? This guy was your fucking hero a second ago, and now you're just like, oh, you're a fucking murderer. Based on nothing. Because I don't even know if he saw any interaction between the dead woman and Rickles. He's just at his house now, pointing the finger in his face. I mean, he's ready to throw Rickles in the electric chair with zero evidence. I don't even know if Rickles had a car. At least have his car, then it'd kind of be but I have no reason to believe that was Rickles' car. So Rickles levels with him. And he's like, hey man, it wasn't me. It was Morty. Morty hates women because he can't be with them the way that he wants to be. And now Billy just thinks he's crazy. He's like, oh, okay, good old Morty. Morty did it. Okay, not you. You had nothing to do with it. Although you're kind of confessing to it. Kind of taking ownership and kind of it's my puppet. So Billy goes back and pulls down Morty's case. And he's opens it up to show him. It's like, look, he's not real. He's made of plastic. He's not, it's a doll. And then Rickles comes at him with a meat cleaver. Until eventually we get our plot twist. Morty is Rickles' brother. It's kind of like Basket Case, except Morty's still attached to his hand. He's got a little head on his hand. A little Basket Case head. He's like, that's how he was doing his jokes and everything. He's not a ventriloquist. His hand was really talking. And his little ventriloquist dummy has a little mask that he puts over his little hand head. But ever since Rickles saw how dangerous he was the night of the fire, he's been sedating him. He's not shooting up. He's not a heroin addict. He's been pumping that shit into his arm to keep Morty asleep all these years. And now Billy's destroyed it. But Rickles thinks that he can end this. He takes the meat cleaver that he was trying to kill Billy with, and he starts chopping off his hand. He's like, I'm done with you. And he thinks that will get rid of the life support.
Mama's wrong again.
And Morty kills Rickles. But after a game of cat and mouse, Billy gets Morty into the meat grinder and starts grinding it. And Morty's voice cracks me up because it's all high pitched. He's like, wait, we can make a deal. We can make a deal. I And it's a Faust-like deal. Billy's kind of selling his soul to the devil. Billy takes Morty on the road, except he takes what's left of his puppet and he puts it over Morty. And Morty sits underneath it and they do their acts together and they're doing great. Except Billy accidentally pisses Morty off. And then Morty conjoins with Billy's hand. And now he's stuck with them. Which makes me wonder, is that what happened to Rickles in the first place? That'd be an even better plot twist. That'd be like 3 plot twists in a row. And that is the end of the episode. So I got lots of Tales from the Crypt to go. I'm gonna try and make more videos now that summer is ending. I will be going back and forth doing a couple Tales from the Crypt, throwing out a movie. I got a movie coming out real soon. So subscribe, like, share, turn your notifications on because I have no schedule, but I will be making more soon, and I will see you guys real soon.